Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. We're here with Logan Lance and Dr. Devin Smith with YPR. Logan is the current YPR chair. Devin is the incoming chair. And we're here to bring you a new piece of personal development for you called the YPR Book Club. Logan, you want to tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah. So our thought is we always want to be bringing value to our members and everybody else in the community. And I like to read. Devin likes to read. Sorry, I spoke for you. And so the hardest challenge of reading self-development books, self-improvement books is sales business is what should you do? There's a lot out there. So we just thought we would pick a book, review it. You can follow along through the next couple of weeks while we look at this book. And then you can tag along. We'll be telling you what the next book is every session. And then, this will help you figure out what you want to do, or help you
figure out what you should read next.
Yeah. Sorry. It's not live, but it's live, if that makes sense. I was just rambling. Gotcha. I can do it. Okay. Yeah. So, we always want to bring value to our members and other people in our community. One of that is personal development. I like to read.
I like to read.
You like to read too. But the problem with reading self-development, book, business, all that, there's so many out there, so many subjects. So we thought, why don't we pick a subject, book, let's read it, talk about it together, and then help, kind of go through all the different book titles there are out there. And then, you have somebody to discuss it with and accountability. And it's not just you reading by yourself.
Right. And I feel like self-development books can be so boring, and maybe like something I take away is not what you took away. So if we're all talking together, we might get more out of it.
That's very true.
Yeah. Super boring. So do you want to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. So the book we're reading is 5+1, The Entrepreneur's Formula for Success. We all got one in our hands here. It's by Chaz Wilson. Chaz is the owner or the founder of Master Networks. A lot of people around here have been a part of or know of Master Networks. So it does, like the title says, lay out the formula for the entrepreneurial success. But if you're not starting a business or you don't own a business, then don't let that turn you off of the book a little bit, because there's a lot in there that you can get out of it. So let's just go ahead and get into some of our key takeaways. We're covering today the first 3 chapters of this book. So if you're reading along with us, or you want to start reading along, that's where we're at here. So if you haven't already read this, go pick it up, read it, and then come back and watch this, or you can watch first and then see all the stuff in action in the book. So let's go ahead, Devin, start with you. There's one part that I like the planning system to reach your goals, the 1-3-5 method. Why don't you expand on that a little bit?
Yes, I love that too, because I can get really overwhelmed with setting goals, especially like, oh, I have all these goals, but I don't have like an action plan in place. So in his first chapter, he talks about the 1-3-5 method. And so basically you set one goal, and then you have basically, 3 priorities, right, Logan?
Yes.
And then 5 action steps for each priority. So that sounds like a lot, but when you break it down, it really makes you kind of reconsider what your goals are and how you can achieve them. And so like that whole method, and I have a very scientific mind, that really helps me kind of set it to something that I understand and something that I want to work towards. And it's easy to track. And we'll talk about that later in chapter 3 too. Like if you're not tracking numbers and tracking things, you're not paying attention. So it really helps you kind of set those different measurable outcomes so that you can actually achieve your goals. Logan, same? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it right there where you're sometimes you can get overwhelmed with your goals, and that's okay. But this is a system to help you really break it down to where it's little things, it's little daily commitments, it's little daily pushes or doing that one extra thing that really can help you build on getting to that goal or goals. And so that way you're always pushing for it, and it's always something daily you can achieve.
Right. I mean, Logan, I think that dovetails into one of your points. When it came to tracking, jumping ahead a little bit, I think that's to chapter 3, but that every sale has a number, and that everything costs something.
Yes. Well, can we back up just one second? We have 3 chapters, right, that we're reviewing, just so that it's labeled to everybody. It's thinking, targeting, and tracking. So when we're jumping back and forth, that's kind of what we're discussing, and really what as far as tracking, every sale has a number. I was reading a book by Jeb Blunt, and he said this one statement there, that every sale has a number, and you just utilizing the CRM or customer relationship manager can really help that. But in the book, if you don't know what you're doing, or you're not tracking things, you don't know where you are at a sale. And basically, it might take you five calls to get Joe to use your business, or it might take 56 voicemails, 40 emails just to get someone to call you back and say, are you going to ever leave me alone? And so, there's not just one prime meeting, you have a sale done. It takes repetition, it takes following up, it takes just being a front of mind person to be in there. So, you have to track what you're doing, so that way you know what works and what doesn't work, so you're not wasting your time. Or you also realize what the sales cycle is, so you're not expecting if you realize it's going to take more than 30 days, you already have that in the forethought, and so you can put that preparation and work into it.
Right. And the thing you said about like wasting time, as you said when you introduced this part, was everything has value, right? So like your time is worth money. So if these goals that you're picking or these numbers that you're tracking aren't helping you achieve that end goal, then maybe our focus and our goals should be on something else.
Yeah. And sometimes, what you also don't want to do, you don't want to track every little single thing. There's a balance there. You don't want to get so caught up and I did this one thing, let me put it down on paper. You know what I mean? It's and don't get too specific or, get too analytical with what you're doing, because then you're just wasting your time again.
Mm-hmm. Good. Love it.
Great. Good job, guys. So I'm kind of doing that. So when we edit it all together, there'll be clear cuts when I hop out, when y'all do. So yeah.
Good. And I tried to cut out the dog barking because they're pissed
for
dinner.
All right. So I think the next topic to cover, both of y'all hit on it in your notes. It's funny, Devin, I was telling Logan, y'all came at it from a different viewpoint. Really? You were more feelings and he was more analytical about it.
Me with feelings? What?
Yeah. But
that goes back to your point, Devin, that we might read something and it'd be totally different.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm seeing y'all kind of say similar things, just a little different. How y'all communicate is a little different. So
what did he say?
What's that?
What did he say? I want to know now.
I'm getting to it. You have in here, creating the ultimate soundbite, that's important, and Logan, that you have, if you can't communicate your ideal customer, no one else will either, miss out on the referral. So what about, if y'all talk a little bit about that, about the important, this is kind of elevator speech talk a little bit,
okay.
the the importance of making sure you know what you do so you can tell other people
Right.
what you do.
Okay. Do you want me to start this one, Logan?
You go ahead. Ladies first.
Shaun, I feel like you should include how we think differently because I like it.
We might.
It's kind of fun. So in the book, Chaz does talk about having like an elevator pitch, and he mentions like, I've never gotten into like an elevator and really had one. So he calls it an escalator pitch, which I was like, okay, I like that. But basically, if you met like your idol, your hero, your business hero in an elevator or on an escalator, what would you tell them if they asked you, who are you and what do you do? Do you have that quick like minute blurb about who you are, and does it make you really come across as the unique person that you are, or are you just like everybody else? And so this is something as a businesswoman I need to work on as well, because if I just say, hi, I'm Dr. Devin Smith, I'm a veterinarian, there's a lot of veterinarians out there. So what is it about being a veterinarian that sets me apart from the others? Why would you choose my business over another veterinarian's business? So I really enjoyed that, because I just really don't think about having an elevator pitch for being a vet, because that's what I am. I'm a vet. But there's so much more to me to that or than that. And so I think adding value, and kind of what we went back with Logan, was everything has a cost or a value or a monetary value. And so I should really see value in who I am. And so I really should work on that quick elevator pitch that I can throw out to somebody that makes me stand out as unique and makes them want to come to my business over someone else's.
Well, I think too, there's so many different practices of veterinarian medicine. So if you're a vet, does that mean you don't do large animals or exotics? I mean, you do exotics, but what does that mean? You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly.
Being able to detail that is that.
Right. And then, you know, what's different like about the level of care you'll receive versus at another vet clinic. So that is something personally that I took away from this book that I really want to work on. So Tommy's gonna hear me throwing out some different pitches over the next couple of weeks. And I'm gonna have one. My action step for this goal is I'm gonna work on it, and I'm gonna have it done by the YPR conference. So if you see me at the YPR conference, I want you to ask me who I am, what's my soundbite, and I'll tell you.
There you go. Well, I think, you know, in the book he references, from my takeaway, is that there's a lady that she sold skin products or skincare products, right? And her ideal customer was anybody with skin, which is like really everybody and nobody at the same time. And that's what, you know, my terrible elevator pitch or escalator or going is probably in the basement is where it was headed. But it was, I would say, anybody, any business owner, any executive, that I don't care. That's what, you know what I mean? If they have a pulse, I want to be their banker, which is terrible because I'm not given a clear mind of what my ideal customer is. Because there's certain, like you said, there's certain products or medicine that, you know, you don't do. I don't have that product. And then, you know, it really hurts you whenever, you know, I wrote down as far as referral opportunities, because, you know, people that refer you are your biggest advocates, right? And a lot of times you hear people, you know, once they say, you know, I went with Joe, and Joe, you know, he did this for me. And you hear people go, oh, I didn't know you did that, Joe. You know what I mean? And that's just because, you know, if you can't say exactly what you do, and we're not talking about getting just like, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, you know, but it's just a broad, you know, I'm a relationship manager. I like this client. This is what I really like to work with, this type of product. You know, the more you can do that, the more, whenever they're hearing or talking with neighbors or friends or other business owners, you got that problem, I know who you need to talk to, or your dog or your cat needs a vet, I know who you should go to. So I think, you know, communicating is really the hardest, but the best thing you can do. And so being able to do that for yourselves will, I think, pay dividends along the way.
Sorry, I was muted. referencing what you were saying before, but like once you know who you are, you know who your customer needs to be, right? So identifying yourself,
Yeah.
you identify others.
I think a lot of that, self-confidence in yourself,
Yeah.
you are valuable. You do bring things to the table. You got to be confident in what you do, and also at the same time, like you said earlier, is some sales pitches all sound the same. I bring the best service. How do you bring the best service? Well, if you implement that into your elevator pitch, that really sets you apart from everyone else.
Love it.
Great. Okay, so I think we'll move on to our final bit. All right, so Devin, so you were saying that one of your takeaways, it was the do it right, shine the light,
Yes.
sharing your goals and your accomplishments with your coworkers and everybody. So, and you even mentioned that in the last answer a little bit. You mentioned your goal, what you want to do. So, why is that important? Logan, I know that this is something that you do too. You share with your friends and everybody, what you have coming up next. So, why is that important to share and to speak it out there?
Yeah, and I loved that part in the book because I think it is so important. And sometimes we get so, like for me, especially so I'm a doctor, right? And I'm the medical director for my hospital. So I have lots of people that I work with, but we don't have the same job. And I'm sure that's the same in every business, but I'm just giving a personal example. And so as the vet and as the medical director, I set the medical standards for the practice, but I also am in charge of helping us grow and helping us stay at the best standard of care. But if I don't communicate that with my team, they don't know why I'm doing the things I'm doing. And so I think it can cause a lot of unnecessary frustration and stress. And like you were saying, Logan, communication is key. And so, coming alongside your team and really sharing with them your goals and expectations, it gives them ownership and it gives them value in their job. And I think all of us want to go to work and have value. And at the end of the day, feel like we did something good. So that's just, I'm working on, sharing more and more with my team, but to be the best leader. And I'm new to the medical director position. It's new to me. So I'm learning every day. But I feel like the more I share and the more I'm vulnerable with my own team at the same time as showing them what I am confident in, I think that unnecessary confusion and stress should be alleviated. And then I hope that gives them the ambition to dream too, and then bring their dreams and their hopes and their goals for their job with me. They bring them to me, and that way we can work together and where there's this cohesive team. And also, if you're not a team that works cohesively together and has the same goals, I feel like that comes across to your clients. And it makes it a not pleasurable experience because you're like, okay, the doctor said this, but our nurse said this. So how can we bring that together and make sure that we're all on the same playing field? So I just love that. Be the light, talk to each other, communicate. Don't just be this higher up that's just making demands and making decisions without explaining them. Does that make sense? And I'm sure, the bank has different team members too. I don't know how y'all's hierarchy works, but.
Yeah, no, I think, we have all sorts of different lines of business, from mortgage to retail to commercial, treasury management, all that kind of stuff, wealth management. But, it's being able to be a part of and understanding exactly what we're doing and how we're going to get there brings in a lot of buy-in. You know what I mean? Because, no matter what your position is, whether you're the receptionist, or you're the manager, you're the owner, you're the whatever, everybody in that business is a key cog. And without them, you can't, people are trying to struggle to get to, they'll have to do their job, and having everybody on the same page and understanding not only what we're doing, why we're doing it, really brings in, like you said, a factor of unity. So that way it's, not only is it an important goal, it's a successful one.
Yeah, good word. Sorry, I was muted again. My dogs are barking.
Same. I think they're talking our dogs are talking to each other via webcast or whatever we're on.
Unity is a good word. A nice unified team.
Sure.
All right, guys. So I think that about ends it for what I was able to pull from what y'all gave us. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover, or any final thoughts about this?
I think it's a great book. And like you were saying, Shaun, like just because you're not an entrepreneur doesn't mean you should shy away from this book. I am not an entrepreneur. In fact, after I started reading this, I like talked to my husband and I was like, should I feel guilty that I'm not an entrepreneur? And he's like, no. I was like, I just love being a doctor and I love helping the hospital. But even then, like I still got a lot out of this book, and it gave me like we talked about, it gave me action plans and methods to, you know, get my goals addressed and also to help my hospital grow. And it didn't have to be because I was starting my own hospital. You can implement this in your own business, whatever it may be. So
Well,
don't let it just.
yeah, I mean, to piggyback off that, if you take ownership in what you're doing, or if you're investing in what you're doing daily with actions and vision and goals, then you're taking ownership not only in what your role is, but in your career. You know what I mean? To spend an extra 10, 15 minutes a day analyzing this, you know, prioritizing this is not, it's the only thing it's going to do is help you. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a deterrent. So yeah, there's things that, you know, I'm the same way. I'm an employee, but that doesn't mean I can't take ownership in what I'm doing to better myself.
Great. Well, thanks for being here, guys. And if y'all enjoyed this, we hope you tune in for the next one. Again, the book is 5+1 by Chaz Wilson. We will put that one out, or second part about this book out. Hope you pick it up and read along, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.